I'm going to show you all the settings that have made my Vegas workflow easier. Starting with the UI, I like to get rid of the things that I don't need, such as the transport bar, the toolbar, and the status bar. I also like to get rid of quick fade audio edits because to me, it's just not useful. And in preferences under general, there are three checkboxes that I undo. And if you read them, you'll see why. There's another one that I highly recommend to people if you're always using the same type of footage. It has the same resolution and frame rate. That way you don't get that pop-up every time you put something in your timeline. In video, your dynamic RAM preview is basically how much room you have to cache video data while editing. And it's safe to bring this to a quarter to half of your entire RAM capacity. So for me, I can do 16,000 megabytes. And this GPU acceleration of video processing is a little misleading. It's not hardware decoding, and turning it off often increases your stability quite a bit. In deprecated features, I like to enable the QuickTime plugin in case my footage requires it, and I also prefer to use legacy text. For file input and output, Mkv Reader lets you import the Mkv file format, but it doesn't give you access to the additional codecs that wrapper might contain. So just keep that in mind if you're using it. If you're using a laptop, I highly recommend changing this manually to the NVIDIA decoder because it's common for it to default to the Intel graphics driver because that's your display driver. In editing, unchecking preserve pitch when stretching audio events means that when you're stretching and compressing your audio, it doesn't sound all gross and metallic-y, and it'll change the pitch instead. So clicking apply will ask you to restart Vegas, but we don't need to do that in this case. You can click this gear icon or press Alt-Enter to open up your project settings. And your resolution should always match your footage resolution, and your frame rate should be the same as your final export settings. I'd recommend changing full resolution render quality from good to best. And disable resample. That is the most important thing that you can get out of this entire video. For audio, I changed the bit depth to 24 and the resample and stretch quality to best. Once you check this box, anytime you open up Vegas and start a new project, you will always have these settings and you won't have to do it over again.